Greetings, my fellow freedom-loving sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's News Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date, Thursday, August 17, 2017. I am at CJ's Java Lounge, located at 400 Southwest 1st Avenue, Suite 1, along the New River of Fort Lauderdale, right on the southwest corner of the Andrews Avenue Bridge, which is in the Yacht Club building. Passion superseding logic is very unhealthy. Folks is trying to play the division game. You try to send them information, they want to call you an effing idiot, and people you don't even know. Well, I got a message for them. I'm going to be reading 3 of the 9 Satanic sins by Anton LaVey. Stupidity. The top of the list for Satanic sins, the cardinal sin of Satanism, is too bad that stupidity isn't painful. Ignorance is one thing, but our society thrives increasingly on stupidity. It depends on people going along with wherever they are told. The media promotes a cultivated stupidity as a posture that is not only acceptable, but laudable. Satanists must learn to see through the tricks and cannot afford to be stupid. Pretentiousness. Entering posturing can be most irritating. It isn't applying the cardinal rules of lesser magic. One equal footing with stupidity for what keeps the money in circulation in these days. Everyone's made to feel like a big shot wherever they come up with the goods or not. I'm going to go right to self-deceit. I may say 3 vows, I'll make it 4 in good faith. Self-deceit is the 9 Satanic statements, but deserve to be repeated here. Another cardinal sin. We must not pay homage for any of the sacred cows presented to us, including the roles we are expected to play ourselves. The only time self-deceit should be entered into this is when it's fun and with awareness, but then it is not self-deceit. Herd conformity, which a lot of people are great in this category. That's obvious from a Satanic stance. It's all right to conform to a person's wishes if it ultimately benefits you. But only fools follow along with the herd, letting an impersonal entity dictate to you. The key is to choose a master wisely instead of being enslaved by the whims of the many. Interesting read, regardless of your creed. That's why I tell folks, friends don't let friends become entrapaholics. I can say that. I'm being insulted for no apparent reason, and this is downright wrong. You want to prejudge me? You have those attributes of the Ku Klux Klan. You assume pathetically. You look at face value but never examine the fine print. You want to deprive free speech? You are an enemy of freedom. I don't give a damn who you are. If you want to delete me from your Facebook friends, don't follow me on Twitter, I could care less. I will make that stance, regardless if you like it or not. That's the damn truth. And I'm not saying I'm a Church of Satan member or anything like that. I'm examining this on a philosophical point of view. If you read the scriptures in the Bible, it talks about the same thing. Awareness. Say have a safeguarding nature, protecting yourself. All you can do is read. A lot of folks that just want to look at the face value and go, okay. The Jim Jones syndrome. Getting caught in Edward Bernays' book of propaganda. You want to do the Orwellian thing? Do it on your own watch, not mine. My rights are natural born, and I can give 2 craps on what you think. I know many of my listeners out there, it's not against them. I always thank them for downloading and sharing my shows because they know don't have all the answers, but always stand on principle. I've been very consistent of what I've done. I make my errors and boldly admit it. That's part of being a human being. Life is a learning process. And I'm enjoying every minute of it. We all hit potholes, hit walls, jumping hurdles, climbing fences just to try to get ahead in life. Always gotta have an anchor. We got technology at our laps, and people don't want to take the initiative on using it. That's what disappoints me to a lot of folks, even the ones I care about. In my realm, try to have a discussion, see how they think, and they give me all this bop, like, you know, it's like bobbleheads. It's nefariously unacceptable. I post stuff up there. Some people get offended. You know what? I don't care. I never try to offend, but get you guys to think. Not to be like me. I don't do that. You gotta be yourself. We all are capable of making our abilities enhance of positive improvement. I can really say at this moment, fear is the great weapon, my friends. Let's just crucify one particular group and everything will be great. We'll be dandy. We'll be perfect. I recall I was watching looking on Unicorn Riot, and the reporter was talking about, well, white genocide, explain white genocide, explain white genocide. And some of the other guys are being a little bit arrogant. You got your arrogance in that particular group as well. But I can say this, I've been keeping tabs on this stuff for a good at least 16 years. What's going on in South Africa, the Boer genocide. It doesn't have to be millions of people at one time. It can all be done periodically. In the 70s, everyone made a big thing about South Africa with the apartheid, which is fair, understandable. I'm not gonna disrespect that. However, the hidden genocide in Uganda from 1971 to 79, 300,000 people were slaughtered by the hands of the Idi Amin Dada regime. Most of them were Christians, as been talked about. So you better start think. Things are happening around the world. All race, colors, and creeds are being crucified. Just an example of eugenics. Instead of playing with pebbles, folks, focus on the boulders. They will run your rear ends over when you least expect it because you're being distracted. Yeah, I got some customers here trying to get information. So, had to get that off my chest. We're going to talk about what's going on. Mostly it's national related. A lot of infiltrating, which I noticed. And we'll just start off here. It came out yesterday by Taylor Druden. I'd like to thank to folks like Doug Owen from blacklistednews.com for sharing this stuff as well. We follow each other on Twitter. Hope you're doing well, my brother. You and your wife and baby. The Owen clan is doing great. Hopefully one day we'll meet and have an awesome discussion. Be around like-minded folks. Okay, so it says here, House to hold hearing on white supremacist threat and mid-financial social media crackdown. As it reads, now that Trump's Russian collusion ties and various historic congressional hearings on the topic have quietly moved away from the front pages, there is a new topic in the Hill. As Reuters reports, the Homeland Security Committee and the House of Representatives will hold a hearing next month about the threats of extremist groups, including domestic terrorism, following a violent white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia last weekend. In a letter to the panel of top Democrats, Representative Benny Thompson, Panel's chairman, Republican Representative Michael McCall, announced that he will hold a hearing on September 12th. We must stand together and reject racism, bigotry, and prejudice, including the hateful ideologies promoted by the neo-Nazis, the KKK, and all other white supremacy groups. That's all? McCall said. That's all? How sweet it is to be bigoted by you. Don't worry, I'm not saying I'm a white supremacist by any means, but it's just those particular groups. The new Black Panther Party has been exempt. The past 3 groups from the communist movement are exempt. Just to let you guys know, they're so special. And now that we continue on here, McCall's letter was in response to requests from Thompson and other Democrats on the committee to hold a hearing on the subject. It is past time for this committee on the Homeland Security Act to act. Democrats wrote to McCall. The committee will invite leaders of the Homeland Security Department, the FBI, and the National Counterterrorism Center to discuss the most serious threats the United States faces, McCall said. Yeah, the government, the tyrannical pieces of garbage in Washington, D.C., New World Order sympathizers, you're the real threat. The serious threat. Meanwhile, the financial crackdown against extremist organizations is picking up speed. According to Bloomberg, Discover Financial announced it was ending merchants' agreements with extremist organizations that incite violence. In light of recent views, we are terminating merchant agreements with hate groups given the violence incited by their extremist views. The Riverwoods, Illinois-based credit card company said Wednesday in an email statement the intolerant and racist views of hate groups are inconsistent with our beliefs and practices. While we do not share their opinions, we recognize that their right to voice them, no matter how reprehensible we find them. Advocacy groups have been calling on major credit card companies to stop providing financial services for such groups such as white supremacists. Color Change, a racial justice advocacy group, said Monday that financial services provided by major credit card companies have been enabling hate groups. Discover declined to see how many groups is ending agreements with or name them. Separately, MasterCard said it will continue to actively monitor the use of its networks by website that unlawfully promote or incite violence, according to a statement from spokesman Seth Eisen. If the network is made aware of activities that is illegal or violates rules, then it will work with the merchant's bank to ensure the activity stops. Eisen said. Still, Eisen said the company has consistently stated its belief that offensive speech has and will be seen for what it is. For the reason we are generally do not prohibit the acceptance of MasterCard branded payment cards by merchants based on our disagreement with specific views espoused or promoted, Eisen said in the email statement. Visa has also reviewed the list of the hate sites, religious organizations, and political groups provided by concerned organizations. Menopines, a spokesman, told Bloomberg the company determined that a number of the sites were adhering to the merchant acquired acceptable use policies or were engaged in illegal activities. For this reason, these sites are no longer able to accept Visa statements. Pine says Visa does not, however, restrict transactions that are legal and involve free speech or lawful expression of views, even if we may find the organization in this position to be offensive. Finally, the crackdown is also taking place on social media, where Reuters reports that Twitter on Wednesday suspended accounts linked to neo-Nazi websites. The Daily Stormer, keeping pressure up from Silicon Valley. Twitter said it would not discuss individual accounts, but at least these accounts affiliated with Daily Stormer led to pages saying account suspended. San Francisco-based social group prohibits violent threats, harassment, and hateful conduct, and will take action on accounts violating those policies. The company said in a statement, Facebook, which unlike Twitter explicitly prohibits hate speech, has taken down several pages from Facebook and Instagram in recent days. It said were associated with hate speech or hate organizations. Daily Stormer has been accessible from intermittently the past few days after domain provider GoDaddy Inc. and its Alphabet Inc.'s Google domains said they would not serve the website. By Wednesday, Daily Stormer had moved to a Russian-based internet domain with an address ending in RU. Later in the day, through the site was no longer accessible at the address. Facebook confirmed on Monday that it took down an event page that was used to promote and organize a Unite Right rally, saying it was actively removing any posts that glorifying the horrendous act committed in Charlottesville. On Wednesday, Facebook said it had removed accounts belonging to Chris Cantwell, a web commentator who has described himself as a white nationalist, and said on his site that he attended the Charlottesville rally. Cantwell's YouTube account also appeared to have been terminated. You see what's been happening? I'm not crazy about some of these people's ideology by any means, but it's called a witch hunt. They're blaming one side, and that is dead wrong. How come you're not doing it to the other groups that were beating people up? Is that acceptable? Are they exceptional? Yes, I can say this. I don't really give a damn about the neo-Nazis and communist movements. To me, they're just governmental entities that'll say, hey, we want someone to look up to, lead the way, guide the crew into the pit we go, and piss on liberty. That's right. Hopefully you crackpots on Facebook will listen to this damn show and they get, understand where I'm really coming from. Calling me some shitbag and all that. That's weak, pathetic, and makes you look a damn fool. Yes, I am a little bit disturbed and insulted, but you know what? I get inspired. That's why I do shows like this to get me going. It's completely unacceptable, and like I said, I don't care about these people. The way to end them is get them where it hurts their wallets. We don't need all this government dependencies and change all these laws and say this day and age, look what happened over there. You know what? You put more fuel to the fires to tyranny. You bring in, come on, New World Order, come on in. We will drop our pants and you give it to us right in the rear. Ah, yeah. That's what they want, my friends. Divide and rule. Divide and conquer. My guys, many people are talking about that on their pages too. We're not stupid. A lot of us know what the hell happened in Charlottesville. It was orchestrated inside job, social engineering at its finest. New World Order 101. Yes, I can say that. And you folks out there want to condemn someone's free speech once again because of their particular ideology? Yep, you should be wearing the I Love Adolf Hitler button as well. Yeah. Not hesitate to say that by any means. All being played, my friends. We're going to keep on going over here, and let's check this out. It was a key from Zero Hedge as well, but it was on the Daily Sheeple. Came out yesterday too. Why was this crowd hired company recruiting $25,000 political activists in Charlotte last week? Question mark. Trump ignited a political firestorm yesterday during an unprotested press conference in which he said blame on both sides for tragic events that occurred in Charlottesville over the weekend. And people got offended. Oh my God, I'm so offended by him. Grow up. Now the discovery of a Craigslist ad posted last Monday, almost a full week before the Charlottesville protests, and raising new questions over whether paid protesters were sourced by Los Angeles-based public relations firms specializing in innovative events to serve as an agitator as encounter protests. The ad was posted by a company called Crowds on Demand and offered $25 per hour to actors and photographers to participate in events in the Charlotte, NC area. While the ad didn't explicitly define a role to be filled by its crowd of actors and photographers, it did ask applicants to comment on whether they were okay with participating in peaceful protests. Here is a text from the ad. It says here, actors and photographers wanted in Charlotte. Crowds on Demand, a Los Angeles-based public relations firm specializing in innovative events, is looking for enthusiastic actors and photographers in the Charlotte, North Carolina area to participate in our events. Our events include everything from rallies to protests and corporate PR stunts to celebrity scenes. The biggest qualification is enthusiasm and can-do spirit. The pay will vary by event, but typically it's $25 per hour plus reimbursements for gas, parking, Uber, public transit. For more information about us, please visit crowdsondemand.com. They'll tell you everything in here, the screenshot, full name, all that, resume, sperm count, doesn't matter. And it has the ad right there. It says here, so what is Crowds on Demand? According to their own website, they're in business of sourcing large crowds of people to provide clients for protests, rallies, and flash mobs all over the country. They even have an entire page on their website dedicated to protests and rallies. Are you looking to create a buzz anywhere in the United States? At Crowd on Demand, we provide our clients with protests, rallies, and flash mobs, paparazzi events, and other inventive PR stunts. These services are available across the country in every major U.S. city, every major U.S. metro area, and even most smaller cities as well. We provide everything, including the people, the material, and even the idea. When you come to us with a specific plan of action and we make it happen, or you can approach us with a general idea and we can help you plan the strategies and execute it. We've made the campaigns involving hundreds of people come to action in just days. We have a proven record of delivering major wins on even the toughest campaigns and delivering phenomenal experiences with even the most logistically challenged events. CEO Crowds on Demand denied to Snopes that his firm was involved in the Charlottesville protest, but refused to provide details on the specific purpose of the Craigslist ad and or why it was temporarily removed yesterday before being restored. We're not involved in any capacity with the recent tragic events in Charlottesville, Virginia. Thoughts and prayers are with the families of those impacted by violence. Silly question, but if you call it worthy of protest, then why would you need to pay $25 per hour to get people to show up? Is that saying, my friends? They're hired, not inspired. That's what the Ron Paul movement. We went there on our own free will, didn't get paid. We get the crowd saying we're inspired, not hired. Big difference. That's what true activism is, not these posers, glam boys, glam girls who are hired buffoons that can't even wipe their own rear ends and being joined to herd conformity. Who let the cows out? So you know what? You folks out there, how many of them actually got involved in these violent schemes? We don't know. So one thing I know for sure, it's a lot bigger than what it is. Any questions? Look up the 9 Satanic tapes. I'm gonna leave that footnote up there too. So read it again and again and again. Okay? If not, read the Bible. It says the same thing in a different perspective. Okay? So I'm gonna continue on here. This is from the 5th column. Came out yesterday as well. It says here, U.S. visited a major Trump protest website. HRW. This is Human Rights Watch? Yeah. The United States activists are raising alarms about a new report that the justice system has obtained a search warrant for information about visitors to a website that coordinated protests at Donald Trump's inauguration. The warrant was issued as part of an investigation into alleged criminal activities by certain people during the protest. DreamHost, the website host, has said the warrant would require it to disclose more than 1.3 million IP addresses that the government could use to identify people who visit the site. DreamHost has correctly raised the alarm that this demand could discourage people from exercising their rights to free expression online. Human Rights Watch is concerned not only about this media impact on free speech, but also about a risk that the authorities obtain this information. There are many insufficient protections to prevent them from storing and searching the data for the long term. If the government takes an expansive view of its powers in that respect, as it tried to do in at least one previous case, it may be able to enter data into databases that could later be used to create profiles of or map relationships between people for whom there is no suspicion of wrongdoing. As DreamHost pointed out into a legal filing, the warrant does not provide any assurance that the government will return or destroy the large portion of information irrelevant to the government's criminal case or cases. Recent media reports have described troubling aspects of government databases. Some furnished by the Palo Alto-based company Planeter that are enable government entities to store data, mine large collections of law enforcement and other information. While we don't yet know how the authorities intend to treat the data gathering from DreamHost. Storing and mining data that is unrelated or unnecessary to an actual criminal investigation would raise serious potential human rights concerns, particularly when the collection appears to be centered on lawful expression and organizing around political protest. At a minimum, judges should consider these possible long-term effects when deciding whether to use a warrant for a large set of user data, and the companies that receive similar overreach warrants should follow DreamHost's example and challenge them on the behalf of their users. The rights of everyone, from the political activity to the merely curious, are too important to sacrifice automatically to a blanket demand. Interesting. And I know that there's like, I looked up, there's a claim that this particular group, Human Rights Watch, was funded by the Open Source Foundation, which is supposed to be George Soros' network. However, it is very interesting to examine, because one thing for sure, if you do that, is everyone could be considered a potential terrorist. Something I always observe, yeah? The truth of the matter is, my friends, we're always going to be careful what we look for. But this particular thing here with DreamHost, yeah, they have the right to protect its people in good faith, as long as there's actually criminal intent. Looking at the protest website, you have to have full detail. So, something to see here. Well, wait and see. Alright, this is from Michael Krieger off the Liberty Blitzkrieg. It says here, Americans are rapidly descending into madness. I don't live in an echo chamber, partly because there aren't enough people out there who will think like me, but also because I constantly and intentionally attempt to challenge my worldview by reading stuff from all over the political map. I ingest as much as I can from a wide variety of intelligent sources, picking and choosing what makes sense to me and then synthesizing it the best I can. Though I'm certainly grounded in certain key principles, and my perspective on specific issues remains malleable as I take in additional information and perspectives. I try to accept and acknowledge my own ignorance and view life as a journey of constant mental, emotional, and spiritual growth. If I'm not growing my capacity in all those realms until the day I die, I'm doing it wrong. Life should be seen as a battle against one's own ignorance, as opposed to the obsession with the ignorance of others. You can't legislate morality, nor you can legislate wisdom. The only way the world will improve on a long-term sustainable basis as if more of us get wise. That's a personal journey. It's our individual duty to accept it. While I'm in control of my own behavior, this doesn't mean the behavior of others is irrelevant to my life. Unfortunately, what I see happening to the population of America right now seems very troublesome and foreboding. While I'm witnessing across the board is a horde of people increasingly separating themselves into weird, unthinking cults. Something appears to have snapped in our collective consciousness, and many individuals I used to respect on both sides of the political spectrum are becoming disturbingly polarized and hysterical. People are rapidly morphing into radicalized mental patients. What's worse, the environment is providing a backdrop for the most destructive people of my lifetime. Neoconservatives and neoliberals to preen around on corporate media as the voices of reason. This is one of the most perverse and dangerous side effects of the current political climate. As I noted earlier on today's Twitter, it has a couple quotes here. What the entrenched political class is doing now is exactly what the Fed did after the crisis, posing as saviors to disasters they created. This is how humans who are dangerous failures to stay in power, they claim they'll handle a problem of their own doing. If you're disgusted with Trump, you're willing to run into cold embrace of these destroyers of the middle class and the Middle East. You'll get what you deserve. In contrast, if we really want to deal with our very real and very systematic problems, the last thing we need is a population to level mental breakdown that leads to a longing for the criminally destructive political status quo. That's exactly what seems to be happening. Okay, fine, so everything seems to be rapidly collapsing, but what are we supposed to do? First of all, don't lose your minds. As I suggest in February's post, why increased consciousness is the only path forward. As noted earlier, Wilbur thinks 10% is a key tipping point. In other words, if we get the 10% of the population to center around a yellow second, the tier level of thought, which consists of a momentous leap in consciousness, the entire world will change for the better. I agree. I'm not here trying to sell you a seminar on how to expand your consciousness. Rather, I think these articles, he should say this article, can help spark some sort of revelation in the minds of many of you are already at yellow, or at least at the cusp of such transformation. Since consciousness can and does regress under conditions of stress and fear, it's extremely important to be conscious of your consciousness so that you don't fall back into lower states. Unfortunately, I see many people regressing at the moment, and I see the media as an intentional force in trying to get people to lower their consciousness. A perfect way to tell if someone is operating at a low level of consciousness is if they are constantly placing tens of millions of their fellow citizens into an outside group they subsequently demonize. It's perfectly fine and healthy to harshly criticize the system itself and the many powerful individuals doing awful things within it. But once you start dehumanizing large swaths of the population as a matter of your worldview, you are most certainly on a very counterproductive path that will lead to merely a black hole of nothingness for society. Beyond maintaining one's sanity, it's imperative that consciousness humans create systems and communities that have as little connection as possible to the existing and rapidly disintegrating paradigm. This will create anti-fragile units of strength within the collapsing Tompkins village socio-economic structure that dominates our culture right now. Some of these projects need to be local, while others can be global. Community farming, food production is a great example of a local initiative, while Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general represents a global initiative to replace the hopelessly corrupt and arrogant entrenched financial system, while crazy power-obsessed tribes focus on taking over the hopelessly corrupt centralized government in Washington, D.C. We need to continue to build separate, decentralizing paradigms, and there isn't much time to waste. Fortunately, there are plenty of very decent, very conscious people out there. I want this piece to provide encouragement to those of you already engaged in this valuable work, as well as an inspiration for those of you looking for an outlet for your creative and intellectual energies. It's never been more important to keep our heads steady and not permit ourselves to be sucked into the mental sickness infecting so many of our fellow human beings. It's imperative while we vigilantly guard our wisdom and consciousness, because the best solutions will only come out from a place of spiritual and mental health. If you descend into gutter with everyone else, your output will also end up looking like trash. That's the last thing we need. Stay strong, stay conscious, in liberty, Michael Krieger. Very powerful stuff. When there's chaos, there's opportunity. Sun Tzu made that statement. This is why, my friends, I don't like any one of you guys out there. My fellow brothers and sisters worldwide, social media doesn't matter. Get sucked into the propaganda matrix. That's what infuriates me. That's why I get real disappointed with a lot of folks out there that I do care about. And I'm not condemning them. But all this stuff is coming out. A lot of these folks never take the initiative on examining what we can do as individuals. We don't need them. They need us. Why do the flip side of all of our rights are natural born, regardless what you look like, what your gender is, skin color, etc. We all have superior, awesome gifts. So sometimes maybe the satanic point of view may not agree with me on it, but in another way, they will honor that because, like everyone else, we can make a difference. They can't. Don't let them conquer you. Don't live in fear. Don't use hatred on especially on face value. Don't be prejudicial or jump the gun. If you're gonna hate a particular group because of their quacky ass views and want them banned, you're thinking like they're heroes. Yeah, I can say that. What are you gonna do? Prove me wrong. Please, have your merits too while you're at it. Krieger, homage to you, my friend. Hopefully we'll meet in person. I'd love to have chats with an individual like yourself. They go all talk about common interests and all that, and excising demoniac resistance as a whole, like what he's doing. Okay, so one more thing. Actually, this one here is very interesting. Came out today. Gentleman named William Bonsai 7 tearing down liberty off a zero hedge. And like this little comment here, I disapprove of what you say, but will defend to the death your right to say it. So those who make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Voltaire. Absurdity number 1. The reason Wall Street, Washington, D.C., and corporate America are allowed to continue their non-stop economic gangbang of the American middle class, including particular economically distressed minorities, is a bunch of weathered Confederate Army statues and the activities of American neo-Nazis. You know what he's saying? It's petty crap. 2. Absurdity number 2. Vladimir Putin owns your ass. Absurdity number 3. The H-1B visa program promotes upward mobility for gender-based, ethnic, and racial minorities. Absurdity number 4. What's good for Wall Street is good for America. Absurdity number 5. The United States Congress represents the will of the people. Absurdity number 6. The RICO Act does not apply to criminal activities to the too big to fail banks. That's right, because they're so special. And of course, absurdity number 7. War is peace. Hey, Wilson Orwell. You're right on spot, my man. I love it. And I'm going to post that on there. Let me just do that right now. Beep. I like those quotes. The whole thing is, my friend, you gotta look at the bigger picture. And he's hit it right on the head. You know? So you always examine things a lot more thorough than what it is. And you know what? I love it. See, this is positive information, inspiration. That's what people I like to be around. Not these dinkleberries think they're smart, anybody else will call me these candy ass names. Don't even know who I am. Weak. Pathetic. One of those individuals that they curse you out and they can't have an honorable discussion because, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. That's how they win a debate, because they're baseless. Can be, allegedly. And I'm going to do one more quote here, my friends. from Frederick Douglass. African American gentleman for the 19th century. To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. Let me say it one more time. To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. So all you folks out there want to censor a particular group, Frederick Douglass is rolling in his grave. Anyone to the anti-racist. Yeah. You got an African brother rolling in his grave. Think about it really well. Open up your minds, your hearts and spirits. Don't get angry, be inspired. Yeah, ridicule folks on their actions. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you back it up with facts instead of screaming at the top of your lungs. Be the teacher, be the rabbi, plant the seed, not a little tree. Don't play the three-ply pyramid, have the government do our jobs. You are your own person. You can make things happen. Exercise your natural born rights. If you take away theirs, you're gonna get duped. Don't follow the hype, the propaganda matrix, the poison of our nature. And that is it. I'd like to thank everyone for listening, but feel free to download and share through social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you're saying something that's interesting and want to check out, whatever you do, please address your correspondence with decorum. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Breaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Streams Network, Scene.life, Minds.com, FutureNet.club, or Patreon.com/LokiLuck3 with the 3 eyes for the number 3 altogether. If you want to donate, that'd be great. I would love it. In addition, you can email me at LokiLuck3@gmail.com or to encrypted type LokiLuck03@protonmail.com. I feel a lot better. I do. Inspiration is good, my friends. That's why I say, don't get mad, be inspired. I'm going to play a cool little song by Gareth Icke. He's the son of David Icke. And I can say this, great song, great tune called Remember Who You Are. I will put that in my footnotes as well on my speaker page and all that. Okay, friends? Once again, thank you for your time. Let's always remember that the demonic resistance is helpful for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading love. May your guardian spirits be with you.
Break my mind for what I'm born with is mine. Stand as one, stand as one, stand as one. Stand as one, stand as one, stand as one. Stand as one, stand as one, stand as one. Stand as one, stand as one, stand as one. Stand as one, stand as one, stand as one. So with all my height, stand with shoulders wide, stand clean out of light, hold my head up high. They can take my eyes, but I still take to fly. They can't break my mind, but what I'm born with is mine. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember.